What's up, guys? I'm Voodoo Johnny Fear, here with my brother-in-law / editor, WhiskeyNeat.
Hello.
And our buddy, Twitchel.
Hello.
And today, for my birthday, we want to try something different, so we're going to do kind of like a podcast type thing. We'll see how well that works.
It won't.
Probably not. So,
Nothing ever does. It's all bad. Everything's bad.
Today is definitely a testament to that. Everything's been going wrong constantly.
Which is how we ended up here.
It is, actually.
Slowly swirling in a pit of despair and self-loathing.
Right down the drain.
Our options were basically play horror games or do a podcast, and the computer decided for us.
So instead of staring into the abyss and potentially falling into it...
Aren't you just a ray of fucking sunshine?
Or losing our temper and say, hooking my computer up to a 9-volt or a fucking car battery. And then ghost riding my car with it in the trunk in the fucking river. Here we are.
Ghost ride the whip. Ghost ride the whip. So since remasters are popular these days, at least to talk about.
It would talk, make, whatever.
Well,
Nobody wants to make anything new. They want to refurbish the old.
Right.
Well, that's because, like, a lot of people are actually asking for it, too.
I want to see less remasters and more reboots. I like what they're doing with Resident Evil 2. I like what they did with Tomb Raider.
They're bringing Age of Empires back.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't a fan of Tomb Raider.
I like the Tomb Raider remake.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I don't like that. I like the original games. Not a fan of the new one.
I haven't played the newest, but I like the other ones quite a bit. And then, like, I'd say it's fair to say that...
You know what game needs to be remade?
What's that?
Ape Escape.
Absolutely not.
Let's don't say we didn't.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Ape Escape wasn't even that great of a game the first time. It was a fun little party game, like maybe almost the first game. But anything after that was like, did we really need it?
I like...
If we're asking that question, obviously, yes, we did.
No, if you have to ask that question, clearly you really fucking didn't.
I'd like to see more reboots, like, of older titles where they can just do stuff with them now that they couldn't before. Like System Shock, I don't know if they're still doing anything with it or not, but I heard at one point a couple years ago, I guess they were working on a System Shock reboot. That would be a fucking awesome game to have a reboot of, because there's shit now, like, it could be such a fucking ambitious title, because there's so much they could do with it.
How about World in Conflict?
That's another one I'd like to see. If not necessarily a reboot, maybe some kind of follow-up to that. That would
or
be,
sequel, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fucking sweet.
I would like an Alone in the Dark reboot actually done properly.
Oh,
that
yeah.
as well, yes.
I remember
That would be fantastic.
Vaguely, but...
The original one was actually pretty fun for its time and everything, but the newer one was just... I didn't even like the story.
I have absolutely seen nothing of it, so...
It's bad.
I'm a big fan.
I guess that's a testament to how bad it fucking was that I peruse YouTube almost daily and I've not seen a fucking thing of it.
I am a big fan of, like, the old point-and-click games. Like, my favorite game probably of all time is Shivers. And I'd like to see, like... Now, instead of doing, like, because what they did before is they had, like, paintings. It was a point-and-click, like, paintings of different scenes that you moved around. They could make a new Shivers game in full 3D, and it would be fucking terrifying. Like, what we could do now versus what could be done then, the puzzles could be better. The graphics...
Okay.
Since
we're talking about point-and-click games like that, and you brought it up earlier, after I brought it up.
So who really?
Discworld.
Oh yeah, Discworld would be. That could be fun too. Although, I think that's one. That one I would rather, instead of a remake, I'd like to just see a re-release. That game should. Everyone who's not played that game should play that game because it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's great. Fucking little mage wannabe guy walking around half drunk and hungover at the same time, fucking making an asshole of himself.
Isn't he the one that
Having
is
incredibly ridiculous conversations
with death?
Yeah.
The one that Death has a hard-on for in the series?
Yeah. It's a point-and-click puzzle adventure game, and the voice acting in it is... The whole thing, the animation style, the voice acting is fucking hilarious. I'd like to see them, if not remake, then re-release that game.
Maybe Sam and Max?
They've done that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, back on the 360, they brought Sam and Max back.
Oh.
It was like an episodic thing.
I never got into that one.
I hear they're doing something with Time Splitters. They're either like making
Yeah,
a sequel
they're making
or
a
remastering
third Time
that.
Splitters.
Ooh.
They're making a third Time Splitters. That's what I heard
Sweet.
too. That would be fucking
One
awesome.
Time Splitter is the one where they traveled back in time to fix the timeline, kind of
Yeah,
like that fucking
and
cartoon back in the day.
And it was another one that was hilarious. It's one of my favorite games of all time. All the games that were made on PlayStation 2, that's the one I've played the single player just to the point of fucking nausea when it comes to that game. I'll never forget that scene when you go back to, if I remember right, it was supposed to be like sometime in the 90s, and there's that little girl, like teenage, like, I don't know, 18, 19-year-old girl in the skirt, and she's trying to climb through the fucking window, and he comes up behind her and like spooks her, and she turns around and kicks him in the fucking nuts, and he does like a cartoon fucking like leg curl with his knees inwards, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were one of them," and he goes, "Nope." No.
Oh.
Sorry, I had to put my balls and my voice back where they belong.
Oh.
That whole game was great. The game, the best part about that too is it wasn't just funny, it wasn't stupid punchlines. The gameplay itself was fantastic.
So, since we're talking about like PS2 games, like what PS2 games would you really like to see remastered?
SOCOM.
SOCOM?
I would
Or
like to
just
see.
seeing it come back?
I'd like to see
Yeah,
a
that's
reboot.
a comeback.
I'd like to see a total reboot of fucking SOCOM.
How do you reboot something that like none of the games were connected?
He's got a point there.
Fair.
It was more of an anthology thing, so I mean that wouldn't really be a reboot.
Fair.
That's just
True. I would
I would like to see SOCOM come
I would
back.
like to see more of it. I'd like to see it be multi-platform too, instead of fucking PlayStation. If I could get that last, I think it was the last SOCOM game that came out. I played very briefly at my uncle's house, and I can't remember what it was called now. But they diverged from the regular formula of having, like a single player campaign and the multiplayer.
Right.
And the last one, I think it was the last one, was multiplayer only.
SOCOM 4?
No, it was SOCOM. There was no number on it. It was SOCOM something.
Probably online tactical, some shit.
No, it had like, I don't know, some code name. But anyway,
Kids Next Door.
it was. It was really well fleshed out, and I liked how like you could take, like for instance, you could take an M16, swap out the barrel, have a longer barrel on it, and then instead of having like an ACOG scope, 4X or like a red dot 1X scope, you could put like a 7X scope on it, and maybe you didn't get the best damage out of it, firing a 223 at that fucking range, but still, you could tag targets. Basically, your play style, it was dynamic enough where no matter what, there was something for everyone in the game, I feel like. Because, like, if you were a person that was really good at really close range and really good at long range, for instance, but you sucked at mid-range shootouts, you could have a fucking M16 select fire and a longer barrel on it. So you could switch to semi-automatic, hit, your targets at the longer distances, and then if you had to rush into it like an objective, like if you're running inside of a cave and you're going to be in close quarters, you've still got that 3-round burst, or the fully automatic.
Speaking of games making comebacks and whatnot, I gotta say, I was really hoping for that Command and Conquer Generals 2, but I wanted that instead of the shitty mobile game we got.
Yeah, you're not alone. I'm really not into that crowd as much. Like when we were talking earlier about, I really don't play any classic RTS anymore. But yeah,
but apparently classic RTS is making a comeback, though.
Yeah, well, that's because they can keep selling it to people on fucking mobile devices.
True.
That's all it is. That's why I wasn't particularly surprised
that they went
by the announcement, but like I understand why they're doing it, but I get why people are pissed off, and everybody's pissed off. Nobody's happy about it. I was on Twitter when they announced that shit, and it was, I don't remember my feed on Twitter ever being more funny. It's just like everybody that I follow is just bitching about just that, and I'm like, part of me was just sitting there thinking, I didn't even know you motherfuckers even played RTS games. Because these are people, none of them even talk about RTS games. But it's just everybody. It's just like, fuck this, fuck that, why? All the way down the line, I'm like, I mean, I get it.
Oh.
It's, I don't know. I got into more of the grand strategy. Actually, you did that with,
Yes, I infected it in you.
what was it, Total War? I always liked the Total War series, but I stopped playing them for a while, and then you had on your computer Total War, Empire Total War.
Yep.
What it was. And then I got back into that. It was years ago. And
I
now
got
I'm sitting here.
Napoleon, I got Shogun 2,
Yeah, and now
I got Rome 2.
Okay, we get it. You have Total War. Jesus fuck.
And
Didn't ask for your goddamn library.
And I've got fucking Hearts of Iron and Crusader Kings and all that shit all over my list.
Another
now,
two
too.
things.
Motherfucker.
So, but I don't. As far as stuff like I used to play back in the day, like Command and Conquer, and even like Warhammer 40K.
Yeah,
I don't.
back when Dawn of War was pretty good.
That style of RTS I don't really get into very much anymore. Although, what was that World War II one that we played for a while there?
Company of
Company
Heroes.
of Heroes. That I might end up putting that back on here at some point because that one was a little bit more in depth. I think.
I don't know. I don't do RTS games really.
Company of Heroes 2 was
It's-
more in depth because it added an environmental factor
Right,
to it.
there's cover tactics and supply lines and shit like in the battle that you gotta.
And then 2, you had to worry about freezing to death.
Right, unit suppression and flanking rounds.
Well, Dawn
lot
of
of-
War 2 had that as well, so
Yeah, but it wasn't as.
it was gimmicky.
Yeah, it wasn't as.
It was gimmicky.
In Dawn of
Company of
War-
Heroes.
In Dawn of War, you can literally take the lowest fucking infantry unit of whatever you've got and just mass spawn them and send them wave after fucking wave at the enemy and just win every single one. Same thing with Age of Empires.
Or Empire Earth. That was another obscure title.
I was over here like we're not even 15 minutes in, and topic just peace.
Well, that's why I was saying.
Remaster. RTS games.
Well, you know, a lot of good RTS games need remasters.
No, they don't. Just make a fucking new one. That's the thing of RTS. You don't
No,
remaster
that's
something you've
true.
already fucking done. You've gone through, you've made the strategies. What are you gonna do? Just make it look fucking prettier? Plus, like,
Yeah.
most of them are on PC anyway, so you can just make mods to make it prettier if that's what
Right,
you're going
that's
for.
what I was saying. With like World in Conflict, I'd like to see a new one.
Yeah, RTS is like, you don't remaster an RTS. You just make a new one with, like, new areas and make it look better.
Well, I think aren't they remastering, or didn't they remaster Age of Empires?
Yeah, they are remastering, or they've already done it. Age of Empires 2, I think.
Yeah.
But why?
That was the most
basically
popular
to
one.
make it more compatible with newer hardware.
I mean, cash grab.
That too.
Well, a lot of that old shit won't run on here. Like Windows 10, just I don't know. There's a lot of shit that I've tried to put on here that I like.
So my problem with Windows 10 is it's really hard to get applications to run older shit.
Certain ones, yeah. And it's
But like on Android, it's incredibly easy. Like if you could ever, I mean, at that point, just get a fucking tablet and just download like DOSBox or some shit.
Mm.
There's like so many things that you can download on like phones or tablets or most computers, as long as you're not running Windows 10 or like that. Like you just download shit to play over games.
Mm.
Download like a fucking Windows 95 emulator. Just like it's one of the problems I always had with Windows 10 when I first started using computers again is like you can't really do emulators on it. It doesn't respond well.
Mm.
I haven't had too much issue.
I mean, like-
I've had problem with. I tried to run one of my games in DOSBox the other day, and the fucking frame rate was just off. I had to sit and fuck with it for like 40 minutes to get it to where it was running.
Okay,
normally, like it was supposed
going
to.
back to remaster then, a game that I would love to see remastered, Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
1010 would fucking buy every time.
yeah. I remember watching.
Although, and I know this isn't exactly a spicy take, the first Dark Cloud is infinitely better than the second Dark Cloud.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed. I remember watching Twitchel's cousin playing, well, both of them. But, like, the first one just seems so much better.
Yeah, it was more in depth in what you could do.
Yeah.
Well, and what you
And
had
even
to-
graphically, it looked
Yeah.
better. I like the, like, darker look for Dark Cloud.
Yeah.
Dark Cloud 2 is way too goddamn bright.
You're right about that, but the textures were smoother in Dark Cloud 2, so
Well,
those smoother textures
Yeah, but
with the
wasn't-
dark
well,
atmosphere.
Yeah, but a smoother piece of shit, still a piece of shit.
That's true.
Wasn't Dark Cloud 2 more like cell shaded though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
believe so.
it was like one of the earliest cell shade games.
Yeah. I didn't care for it.
Me
I
neither.
liked the game. that's a decision that I wouldn't have made.
Look,
I would've sucked
remember,
the original graphics up.
I remember playing the shit out of that game with my mom.
Yeah, I
Back
played,
when my mom was cool and played video games with me.
Blood Rain would be cool to see come back. If done
Oh
properly.
yeah.
reboot, not a remaster. I'd like to see a whole new.
I don't care how they did it.
series.
Reboot, remaster, fucking just make a whole
Well,
other sequel.
The thing is that
As long as it's done
combat-
right, it'd be cool.
the combat, in my opinion, of the original games, the style of it is way outdated.
Okay.
Like
I got another one for you.
I recently went and revisited Castlevania, Lords of Darkness, and I love that fucking game. But upon revisiting it, I realized that I now hate that fucking game. So, like, if they were gonna redo it, I'd like to have them like redo it because the combat controls and like the camera and shit does not fucking work with you. It does not help you at all. It is so outdated that when you go back that far to something like that, it's physically uncomfortable to fucking play. It's
Camera controls and shit is like something I'm worried about with like the Spyro Reignited trilogy. Just because like there were so many instances, like as you saw when I was playing through the second one, where the camera did nothing but work against me, especially during boss battles where you can't really rotate the camera. It will always just focus right back on the boss. It's like, I need to be able to see where the fuck I'm going. I am looking for shit. How's the boss?
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you have. I assume probably, but I think they just released some footage from Spyro 2, the remaster.
Oh yeah,
of
they just
Heracles.
released. Yep, they just released the Heracles gameplay. I watched that as soon as they released it. I've been keeping up heavily on Spyro. I'm so fucking excited.
Anyways, as I was gonna say, I got another, I guess you could say, series of games that I would like to see either come back or remastered, and that would be the Legacy of Kain games. So, like Soul Reaver, Legacy of Kain, stuff like that.
That's another
Reboot.
game I'd like to see. Yeah, I'd rather a reboot. Like, because they're old enough. That's another one I also recently revisited. Believe it or not.
I'd like
And
to.
once I got into it, I played it for like 10 minutes. I was like, "Ew, this looks so fucking dated, and it feels dated, and it's like, it's supposed to. That's why you go back to your old games. At the same time, when you've played newer games, like so many hours a week, every week, for ages, and then you go back, suddenly you go from fucking came out in January of 2018 or February of 2018 back to playing something that came out in fucking like 2002.
97.
Then yeah, then you notice
Yeah.
instantly.
I mean, some games can still do it well, but yeah, it's one of those things where like, you go back through and you play some of your favorite old games. It's like, I wish they would fucking remaster this and fix all this dumb shit that I'm having an issue with.
Right.
Yeah.
I think part of that is, like I said, it's being spoiled by the new mechanics and how everything runs now.
Yeah.
And how everything's basically just tailored for you.
Right. And things.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but is kind of a bad thing.
Well, I mean, but like back then, like
That was part of the challenge.
the
Yeah.
gameplay of Lords of Shadow was good. Like, it was great when the game came out.
Mhm.
Now you play it, and in a few minutes you want to put your fucking head through your controller. And it's not because it's a bad game. It's because it's not on the same playing field. Like,
Not even close.
trying to compare a game that like came out then to a game that came out now, even if they're the same style of game, trying to compare the two is ridiculous. You just can't. Because there's no comparison, because the engine that they're using now versus the engine they were using then, and just the systems that they were using then, the limitations that those put on it. So you can't compare it.
I know it's kind of asking a lot, but I'd like to see like the older Persona games be remastered as well.
No.
Yeah, I'm not on for that one either.
No.
Even though, we just had a new Persona game come out in the past 2 years or so.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where Persona is kind of like, games like Persona are on the same level as like RTS. Like when it's something like that, especially with a series that is still currently going on, like what's the fucking point of remastering that?
That's
The only
fair, I
reason to
suppose.
remaster like the original Personas is simply because we didn't get them.
Truth be
Yeah,
told,
time.
if Resident Evil 2 was a straight up remaster and not a complete remake, I would not be interested in it at all. I'd actually be pissed off, because what I'm looking forward to is Resident Evil 8. And so, if it hadn't been for them doing like a complete remake, new mechanics, it's not going to play at all the same as the original one did. And so for that,
But still
it's going to be
following
a
the
new,
same storyline.
right. But for that, it's going to be a new adventure. And so I'm okay with that. But
I don't know if I'd say it's a new adventure. I mean, it's still Resident Evil 2, just
I'm
with a
telling you,
couple
they're going
things
to have...
tacked on.
No, they're going to have... I'm telling you, they're going to have a bunch of new shit in there. I'm almost
Yeah, but
certain
like
of it.
adding new shit doesn't make it a whole new adventure. Like you've still already done it. It's just there's a couple things you didn't do back then.
Well, you can't... Alright, the Resident
It's
Evil...
the adventure with extra steps.
The Resident Evil remake was totally fucking different.
From the original, yeah, but that's because they
Right.
redid a redo.
No, what I'm saying is the original Resident Evil remake that came out on GameCube years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different fucking game than the original Resident Evil. Rooms were in different fucking places. Keys were in different places. You had the fucking redheads the whatever the fuck they called them.
The stupid
Red Skulls.
The hunters.
No, the fucking zombies that you have to burn
No,
their
you're
fucking
talking
corpses.
the
Once you kill them,
yeah,
Red Skulls, I think is what they call
you had to
them.
torch the body or they come
Yeah.
back.
And they're fast as fuck. Just, graphics were all fucking way updated.
Oh yeah.
But this one, I think, is a remake beyond that because you're taking. It's not even the gameplay is not even the same. Like you're going from that fixed camera, third person, roaming around to over the shoulder action, and then on top of that, with the graphical changes, like I've even seen shit that, like it's. I'm pretty sure it's like new scenes in the fucking game, like because of the graphics and shit, the removal of the limitations.
Say that the whole fixed camera view was actually one of the main reasons why I didn't get into the Resident Evil series because those were the first ones I.
You had to be really willing to like put up with the fixed camera angles. Like I get why they did it.
I like the fixed camera.
I hate it. I absolutely hate cameras. I cannot change myself.
I always loved it. When it came to Resident Evil and Silent Hill, I fucking loved it.
You see, and like the fixed camera is one of the reasons why like I couldn't even get into like Silent Hill 3 that much. Silent Hill 2 I went through mostly fine. I got aggravated more times than I can fucking count. Just within the first what was supposed to be a half hour of the game to turn into like 2.5.
Just thought of another one that needs to come back or get the third game that we were promised but never got, Condemned.
Yes.
No.
Condemned.
Not anymore. No.
Yeah, I'd like to see a sequel to Condemned.
Condemned 2, the sequel to Condemned 2, because the fucking cliffhanger they left us at.
I mean, you're never gonna get that.
Well, we were supposed to, and then it got fucking canceled. I think someone else owns the property now.
Well, they handed it off to a new, like, it was a brand new development, like, studio. That it was just like an indie developer, like, here, take this, let's see what you can do with it. But I don't know if you're ever gonna get like an actual sequel to Condemned 2. It's probably gonna be like Condemned 2 was to the first one, where it's just here you go.
I don't know.
I mean, we might still get another Condemned game, unless that one's been canceled. I don't know. I stopped checking on it years ago.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I believe it was years ago canceled.
It's still a good game for the time, though.
I mean, I remember it was
You know
canceled.
what I'd really like to see them bring back? Silent Hills.
No,
that's never gonna fucking happen.
No, I don't want it to come back, because if it does, it's gonna be under Konami, not Kojima. And fuck Konami.
Yeah.
Without Kojima, you don't have a Silent Hill game. You just have a piece of shit with the Silent Hill name stapled onto it.
And maybe little fucking pachinko games as well.
I'm buying the next Silent Hill. I really don't give a fuck what it is.
I'm not. Because
Don't
it's
enable
not...
them.
Hey, when he starts selling me shit on PC, then I'll actually give a fuck. But as long as he's making PlayStation exclusives, I suppose he can kiss my ass.
Well, Konami
Still,
can kiss the collective ass.
Konami.
Yeah, no. Like, I realize you're trying to be optimistic here, but I don't care what the fuck they put on. It's not going to be a Silent Hill game. It absolutely will not be Silent Hill.
I've spent enough time not buying Konami shit.
Continue.
I'm ending the boycott.
There is no ending that fucking boycott until Konami actually goes down.
They
Fuck Konami,
Which they
fuck what they did.
Because they have a lot more revenue and various other ventures.
Mm-hmm.
It'll go down eventually. We don't really see as many movies from them anymore either.
They make movies.
They had their hand in some.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do.
They will.
They got their hand in too many jars. One thing fails, several others don't.
It's actually the main reason why they've felt comfortable enough.
That's
burning
why
the gaming bridges.
That's why they could afford to fucking cancel Silent Hills. I mean, look at how fucking huge that game was gonna be, and they just went, okay, well, fuck you then. If they were comfortable enough to do that, they're probably not real worried about filing bankruptcy.
And they don't care about gaming. That's it. They don't. That was a nifty little side project for side revenue for them. Wasn't even half of their like revenue.
No, Konami, they'll go. They will.
That's tad optimistic coming from you.
It'll happen. Especially after the shit show that was Metal Gear Survival. We're just gonna take State of Decay, retexture it a little bit, and throw the Metal Gear name on it. You guys will buy it. No!
You see, that's the thing. If it were, you know, a purely survival game without the metal... If it were a new IP, maybe.
I honestly still don't think it'd do as well. Just because, like, I've seen the gameplay and
reason
everything.
why they tacked on the fucking...
Well, no, that's, like, what I'm saying is, I've seen the gameplay and everything. It's State of Decay retexture.
Oh. So...
No, without the Metal Gear name, I don't think it would have sold at all, because people would have just been like, so it's a State of Decay ripoff by the people that lost their #1. Okay.
Speaking of, that's another game I need to get. Still.
State of Decay 2?
Yes. It's been on my wish list since it came out.
I'm gonna see a good Resident Evil 4 remaster. Not the stupid,
I
like,
don't.
shitty semi-HD shit they've been doing where they slightly improve the fucking graphics, and they're like,
Where they really...
HD!
Where they fucking... like,
Resident Evil
revamp-
4 is overrated.
I'd like to see 3 come back.
Yeah.
It was kind of actually just a good
And
game.
Veronica.
Code Veronica X was fun.
Yeah. No, 4 was okay when it came out. I enjoyed it. Bought it when it first came out. Enjoyed the shit out of it. But it wasn't my favorite game. It wasn't even my favorite game on PlayStation 2.
Speaking of, what was your favorite game on PlayStation 2?
That's a good question.
So many.
I mean, there really are.
Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
I personally wasn't even too big into the PS2 Mortal Kombat games.
I wasn't into fighting games really, except for Dead or Alive.
I've always
Back
been
when
a
they
huge
made
fan.
fighting games.
Yeah, of course. You'd be the most interested in the one with jiggle physics.
I was always a big fan of Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat Armageddon had fucking like a, what was it, 66 character fucking roster or some shit. Plus you could create your own character and their combos. Like, I spent so much time playing that fucking game, dude. You create your own character. There's all kinds of different customization items to unlock and shit. And then you could also create your own, like, you unlock different moves and set up all your moves. And the way you set them up determines what your combos are going to be and shit. And I had some fucking killer characters on there.
We see you're going for a Scorpion Sub-Zero setup. Here's the fucking template that literally 90% of the community's using. I see you're going for an actual randomized template. See what we can work with. That's my problem with like most of Mortal Kombat. Is like you're pretty much only ever going to see people that are playing as Scorpion. Or
What about Mercenaries?
No, actually,
What about a remake or reboot or whatnot of Mercenaries?
Yeah, a reboot of Mercenaries.
You mean Just Cause?
would be cool.
You mean Just Cause?
Nah, it's totally different.
No.
It's not totally different.
Considering they
You
were
run
both
around,
released,
you shoot shit, you destroy shit.
Considering they were both released around the same time, no. They're
Well,
different games.
I think that
Yeah, different.
I think
Yeah, it's similar yet different games.
I own all 3 of the Just Cause games on my PC. I actually been playing them recently. I will say, I think Just Cause is vastly superior to
Obviously,
Mercenaries,
since
but I
Just
but
Cause is
the
so
characters in Mercenaries were a bit more interesting.
right. Yeah, I'm having a hard. Like, I'm trying to play through Just Cause 2 to get the achievements and shit on my Steam, and I just the voice acting is so fucking abysmal.
As much as I love Just Cause, like,
And the jokes
dude,
are
you don't
dumb
play it
as
for the story.
fuck.
You play Just Cause because it's a giant, destructible sandbox.
Just Cause 3 wasn't so bad, but Just Cause 2 is just... The jokes are so fucking stupid. And they say the silliest shit. Like, there's these cutscenes and they're talking about serious, like, fucking overthrow the government type shit. And they're like... Haha, insert stupid ass pun here, comrade. And they say it just like that. And it's like, yeah, that's cute. How about we get back to this shit so that, you know, we can talk about it so I don't get myself fucking blown up. How about that? Can we can we serious up here for like a second?
Listen, I appreciate your puns, but there's a literal
done,
fucking army rolling up on me.
Or had like its own fucking series, Black, with the fully destructible environments.
Black would have made an amazing fucking game series. I think it was ahead of its time and the limitations of the PlayStation.
I don't know, could it have made a good series, or is it one of those games where it's like, it was so good the first time, why risk fucking it up after?
I think that if the game came along a little while later and they had shit like destructible environments and, you know, better AI, oh my god, I'd still be playing that motherfucking
Maybe
game
even
today.
multiplayer.
I think a remaster could be good for Black.
Now that's assuming
Even a
anybody
reboot.
watching this even fucking remembers it.
If they played PlayStation and they like first-person shooters, they almost guaranteedly did.
Yeah, no, Black was insanely popular.
That game was...
Mostly for the reason we just listed off of,
it
you
was
know,
so
the fully
crisp.
destructible environments.
It was so crisp. Everything in it was fucking pretty. Like, above and beyond everything else on PlayStation at the time. I remember, that was my first thought when I put it in. I was like, holy shit.
Right?
Like, at one point in time, I remember specifically, I had already been through the game like 6 times. And I remember I picked up the AK-47. And for like 5 solid minutes, I'm standing like up against this like cave wall. And I just would fire one bullet out of the gun just so that I could watch the reload animation. Because it was so fucking perfect. The graphics were so pretty and the gun was so realistic. And the sound effects were fucking fantastic. Even after like 6 or 7 times I'd been through the game, I still was sitting there like in awe. Like, it's awesome.
And then tack on the fully destructible environment on a PS2.
Yeah, that was actually the most insane thing.
I would like to see that enhanced.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think a remaster would be amazing for Black.
And
I'd
considering
like
what
a
they
total reboot with like a much more in-depth story, like something to like really bite into.
and you know, story driven, but like when multiplayer became a thing and just like fucking as an afterthought.
And I would like,
Because you know
if they
that's the
remade
thing.
it and then they made it like semi-linear. Like, I don't want it to be open world. There's too much fucking open world shit going on.
You know,
The
at that
market's
point,
not
it's just cause.
So it needs to be linear, but like semi-linear, sort of like in the vein of,
You go down, you come to a fork, you take left or right.
right, like Bad Company 2 meets Dishonored 2. You know,
I
the
have
destructible.
not seen anything about Dishonored 2.
But you know how Dishonored plays.
Yeah.
Well, right, it's an open world per se, but really it's just it's a very large area in which you play each mission, and you can do shit the way you want to do it. But then if you like combine that with the destructible environments and shit,
Picking up what you're putting down.
like Far Cry, one of my favorite mechanics in the Far Cry games since Far Cry 2 is the ability to set shit on fire.
Yeah.
I used to do that all the fucking time. I'd crash, I'd be in a gunfight, and they'd like make me fucking crash, and I'd hop out, and the first thing I'd do is run towards the tall grass. And I just kind of like bait them, like just pop out, fucking shoot, and they shoot back, and then they start moving up looking for you, and they're all in the grass, and you just back up, and you like step on a rock and drop a fucking Molotov cocktail, and watch the field fucking erupt in flames around them.
Fallible grass is always fun to play with.
Yes. Also, elephants.
Yes.
Until they're chasing you. Because there's not a vehicle in that game that elephants can't make fucking Superman across the map.
True.
Rhinos as well, which was a bitch in Far Cry 4.
Far Cry is it?
Far Cry 4. There's fucking black rhinos and elephants in there, and both of them are assholes. The rhino more so, because they're fast, and first of all, they fuck you up like crazy if they hit you specifically. But I always thought it was funny. It happened several times, but the first time it ever happened to me, I never seen the black rhinos until I was driving, minding my own business, just driving a Jeep down the road. Apparently there was a black rhino in the tall grass behind a tree.
Like a
I
fucking
didn't even
Pokemon?
see him, but he was close enough that I aggroed before I got to him. And so he knew I was there and was already headed at me, but I didn't know. So I just drive past this tree, and like over here on my left side is just a cliff going down into a very deep ravine. And I'm just driving, and then all of a sudden I'm airborne. And I was just sitting there going, what the fuck? I'm falling. I'm like looking up and shit. Like, I look like a fucking Wile E. Coyote cartoon off the side of the cliff. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? So I reload my game, spawn back in, and I go back to that spot. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, there's the ravine. And I look back around, like, what the fuck? So I start walking around. And as I'm walking, I come face to face, like literally face to face with the fucking thing in the bushes. And I'm like, that must have been you. Hi, how are you? I'm gonna leave. And
I'm
he's
the
like,
dude you just fucked up.
He's like, you're goddamn right you are. And then he starts stomping up and down on me, and you know, I died again. Like,
You know another thing I'd like to see come back?
what?
Like Conker's Bad Fur Day or like Gex.
Yes.
I want
to
more.
both.
I want more games that like take a hilarious turn on
Crash.
parody.
Crash just came back recently.
Oh, right. But I meant more
Earthworm
Crash.
motherfucking Gem.
He also had a recent comeback.
Did he?
Yeah.
When?
Earthworm Jim HD on the fucking 360.
That's not.
And then there was
recent
another. I think there was another game for that on the 360 as well.
enough. That's not recent enough.
It's way
But
more
I'm talking
fucking
about.
recent than what his old games were.
I'm talking about reboots anyway. I'm like an actual, like a straight up remake.
You know, Conkers and Gex need to come back
Yeah.
because they did the best job of parodying like movies and TV shows for their games.
Banjo Kazooie was great too. They brought that
Right
back.
up until fucking nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say.
That game was a fucking train wreck
That is exactly
that you
where
could
I
build
was-
yourself.
Right. That's exactly where I was going with that. They basically were like, hey, you remember these two games that we made that sold like hotcakes that everybody loved? What if we took those two characters and that video game name and we used them, right? But you get this, when they unwrap the package and put the disc in, it's a totally different game. And everybody else in the boardroom was like, yeah, let's fucking do that.
Yeah.
Which is a ridiculous phenomenon, by the way. That seems to be happening more and more often.
Gundam games. We need Gundam games to come back.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of getting sick of mechs. In general.
You filthy heretic.
I'm
Gonna have
just,
to disagree with you on that one.
just in general. I'm just kind of sick of them.
I still absolutely love Max.
Fucking childhood right there. Anime, cartoons, fucking games. Mwah. Love Max.
You know what I want to see more of? Synths.
What?
Synths. Synthetics.
Sorry, was Fallout 4 not good enough for you?
No.
Fallout 4 wasn't good enough for anybody.
No, I'm talking about... Yeah,
Fallout
no, not
4
really.
wasn't good for anybody without mods.
No. I'm looking forward to Fallout 76. I'm just not looking forward to the online aspect of it, really.
I mean, it's not like you're really gonna notice it too much. It's supposed to be.
seriously.
Not really. It's supposed to be a map 4 times the size of Fallout 4 with only 12 people.
But
How
there's
the
still going to
fuck?
be cities. You're still going to
I've
like
been
go into
actually
cities to
noticing
get
something that
quests
it looks like, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's something like a Fallout Miami or something, or
It's a mod.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a mod development team is making
Yeah,
for
they're trying to make
New
a-
Vegas, I think.
oh, okay.
Yeah, they're trying to basically they're making they're trying to make like a new Fallout game of their own, but it's in the it's a mod.
Okay, so kind of like DayZ with Arma.
Yes.
Sort of.
Except Fallout Miami is not going to become a standalone thing.
Absolutely
Okay.
not. I don't think. I think Bethesda would want to word with somebody if that were the case.
Well, between
Fucking
that and
fly,
look at
get
the
the
last
hell away
mod that
from me.
became a standalone game.
Huh?
So between that and look at the last game, or last mod that became a standalone game, as
Right.
aforementioned, Daisy.
But apparently it's got a recent update.
Dude, it's always got a recent update.
It's still in fucking
It's
early
the-
access, isn't it?
The issue is that they're not updating anything that's worth updating. The game is shite. It's as bad or worse now than it was.
Anything
way
at this
back
point, the
when-
only update is so
I'm
that way it has to
still-
pop back up on your fucking feed, and you're like, oh, maybe I should play that.
I'm still fucking angry that I bought it. Like,
Yeah, because the mod itself,
haven't
when it was
gotten-
still the mod, was much better than this.
I would have gotten my money worth out of it if they just hadn't updated. If it was the same now as it was the day I bought it, I still would have had more time invested into it and enjoyed myself more than I have at this point. Because it's so fucked now, and has been for long enough, I can't even bring myself to turn the fucking game on.
At least it's not as fucked as the Bean Wars were, dude.
It's more fucked.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure the Bean Wars were still more
It's
enjoyable
infinitely
than what
more
the
fucked.
fuck Daisy is now.
As broken as the mod ever was, I enjoyed it infinitely more than I ever have a single minute of the standalone.
Yeah, especially that one time I fucking played with this dude. Didn't speak a lick of English, but
Neither
we
do you.
but we made it work somehow.
No,
Bonus points, he could read the signs for me.
Literally the only bit of the standalone that I ever enjoyed. This is how few shining examples there are of good times in DayZ standalone, is that I can actually tell you, I can pinpoint the moment, well over a year ago, that I noticed something I liked in that fucking game. I picked up a scope for my Mosin Nagant rifle, and it was damaged, and I put it on my gun anyway, and when you aim down the sight you could actually see the crack in the fucking lens. I thought to myself, wow, that's cool, that's good attention to detail, I hope they keep that up. And then a year later I went, jinxed it. They did not keep that up.
What were some other really good old games
Uh,
that should come back? Gotta keep that part in mind. That should actually come back.
How about Ace Combat? Should it come back?
No.
No?
No.
I figured I'd just, tease it out
we've
there.
we've had our fun of dogfights. And plus, like, it's involved in every game now.
Yeah.
Battlefield
I
has
don't know,
it.
maybe an
Battlefront
Ace
has it.
Combat, but instead of modern planes, old planes.
So Battlefield
So
1.
Battlefield 1.
That's why I said we had like so many games have dogfighting now. We don't need Ace Combat.
With the storyline that fucking Ace Combat is known for. Good story that you become attached to the characters.
Never became attached to Naval. I was there to fly planes. Didn't give a shit about the story. Didn't give a shit about the characters. I'm there for dogfighting. I can do that in any game now. I want old planes? I'll go play fucking Battlefield 1. I want newer planes? I'll go play Battlefield fucking 4.
Or, like-
I want spaceships? I'll go play Battlefront 2.
Or like fucking a flight simulator. For that
Yeah.
matter.
Well, I enjoyed Ace Combat for the stories that they made. So
Aren't they still? I thought they were still making those.
No.
no, I don't think
Last
they've
one was on
made
360,
one since
PS3.
6,
Mm-hmm.
which, as I keep pointing out, was the entire reason why I got a 360.
Yeah.
I wish Army of 2 would come back.
Yeah.
Not under EA.
No.
Please, oh Christ, not under EA.
Everything.
Anything but E EA.
If we could just get like the development team that was working at Visceral to just start up a new company and somehow manage to buy the rights to Army of 2 from EA, yeah, that'd be fucking fantastic. Army of 2 was so fucking great. Especially, like, unpopular opinion, Devil's Cartel is the best one.
I never got to play it like at length, but from what I played of it, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was better.
Gameplay was smoother, even though you didn't have like some of the things you could do in the earlier games. It was still, you know,
I think the story was better.
Oh yeah, definitely. Story was definitely fucking better.
And it was fucking heart-wrenching there at the end. Like, at the beginning and the end, it was
Yeah.
goddamn heart-wrenching. Because you have this character that you played as, through the first two, just basically decided to say, fuck you, and then you gotta fight him the rest of the goddamn game. And it's like,
Yeah.
Elliot, dude, you was my homie.
Uh,
Why you gotta play about it like that?
You were my boy. Why?
And, like, Elliot's the one that I preferred to play as, so to have to go
Yo.
through and kill him, it was like, no! No! And then there's the other team that was kind of like your team's rival throughout the game, and you watched them get killed, and it's like,
Yeah.
we was chill, dude!
We have reached maximum no chill. Why?
Like, we were about to go on a picnic after this. Why you gotta do that?
That and the ad campaign was pretty cool too.
I'm trying to think of. I feel like there's something else that I played a lot of on PlayStation 2 that I was gonna say earlier, and I can't remember what the hell it was.
Do you remember anything about the game?
Dynasty Warriors, they're still making that.
No, and I don't really enjoy those anyway.
I do want to play the new Dynasty Warriors since it's actually open world.
I haven't enjoyed a Dynasty Warriors game since 5. And even that was tentative.
Yeah, I want to play Dynasty Warriors 9 because it's actually open world and shit. I think that'd be pretty cool. Dino Crisis would be cool.
Oh yes,
Dino Crisis.
Definitely.
And
Reboot.
Parasite Eve.
Parasite
Yes,
Eve.
also
Oh, it's
yes.
Parasite Eve.
Same vein.
Oh.
Fixed camera, survival horror. Would love to see reboots of both of those.
Fuck yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Survival horror. Trying to think. It's trying like it's legitimately pissing me off.
Hell, with Dino Crisis, that's even going back to fucking PlayStation 1.
Yes.
So it's Parasite Eve.
I know nothing about Parasite Eve.
It's great.
It was
YouTube it when you get home.
Yeah, it was pretty well known for being a. It was one of the very few examples of being able to take like the Resident Evil formula, I guess, and
Use it with something
Yeah.
else.
yeah, use it with something else and succeed.
Mm.
It was very well played out.
Resident Evil versus Resident Evil slash
Silent Hill.
Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, because Alone in the Dark and Resident Evil were really the ones that pioneered that shit, weren't they?
Alone in the Dark was the very beginning of it.
Mhm.
Alone in the Dark is often hailed as the grandfather of all survival horror games. It's basically where the genre started.
But Resident Evil gets the credit, unfortunately.
Well, Resident Evil
Improved
refined
upon
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alone
Popularized
in the
it.
Dark, Alone in the Dark was the idea. Resident Evil chipped off the horse shit.
So Alone in the Dark was the proof of concept.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of those Japanese horror games that I want to see. Remade.
Fatal Frame?
No. I've seen enough Fatal Frame. As a matter of fact, if I see another camera in a fucking horror game, I'm gonna throw up.
Siren.
I'm sick of it. That one. That's the one. That's the fucking one. I want to see another Siren game. I want to see all the Siren games. Just like, it needs to be like a regular series. It was fucking great.
Which, you know...
It was earnestly difficult. And its difficulty made it legitimately fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And Kuon. That was the other one. Kuon. Did you ever play Kuon?
What the fuck is that?
Look it up. It's
or you can just
played,
tell me.
It's played from. Well, I'm saying look it up later and watch some of it. It's played from like a fixed camera angle, sort of like the Resident Evil games.
Again, showing
But
your love for that type of fucking gameplay.
It's set in like feudal era Japan, and you play as like this priestess.
I remember hearing
with
about
this little
shit,
paper fucking lantern.
Yeah,
and you're going into like this shrine, and when you get in there, there's just blood and fucking corpses everywhere.
Fuck it, get it, we'll play it.
And it was a fucking PlayStation game. Well, that's true.
As he shows the emulator on the desktop.
I couldn't find it last time I looked.
Oh.
But to get...
It was a PlayStation game, so was Spyro 2.
Collector,
this is
copy of it,
something
man,
that we've... I don't know if all of us have unanimously agreed. Foreign... like media in regards to horror are actually much better at the fucking game than our own nationalities.
I think a lot,
because if you think about it, the Resident Evil games, while it's set in a Western type thing, it's made by a Japanese company.
Right. Well,
most games are.
It's I think our country, when it comes to horror stories, I think our country excels at the crazy serial killer type deal.
Yeah, we have slasher. Asia has fucking
Japan,
supernatural.
yeah, Asia does ghosts and shit and demons like really well, and then like the northern European countries have like
beasties.
The fucking I mean they've got it on lock when it comes to like
werewolves,
vampires, creatures of the night kind of thing.
Yeah, like over in fucking northern Europe, you know, you get a vampire and he's gonna slaughter the shit out of people. Over in America, your vampire runs a fucking hotel.
Right.
Or Sparkles.
Falls in love with teenage girls.
Who falls in love with a giant man dog. So, I mean, we just kind of suck when it comes to vampires now. Hashtag make Blade great again.
Anything but slashers. And even then, most slasher films are, like, comical.
We've mostly sucked when it came to vampires for, like, 20 fucking years.
Yeah, the best we did with vampires wasn't even actually fucking horror movies. It was a goddamn comic series.
Blade.
Mm-hmm.
What day war?
Daybreakers.
Daybreakers, yeah. Wasn't that?
That was actually a pretty good movie too.
I still have actually yet to see that one.
You should.
Recommend it. Definitely.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I was surprised.
We watched that together, didn't we?
Yes. And then another the Dusk Till Dawn series, of course, is.
But that was more comedy than
it was both, I think. But when it comes to like,
it was Quentin Tarantino. What the fuck do you expect?
Right. I mean, I think Pulp Fiction's pretty serious too. If you read the script of Pulp Fiction, it's pretty serious.
Fair enough.
It reads pretty serious off of a transcript, but things get funny when you put Samuel L. Jackson in them, basically.
It's true, even though most of the time
And John Travolta.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Willis.
One of my favorite
and
scenes
Quentin
of any
Tarantino
movie.
himself.
One of my favorite scenes of any movie is in that fucking movie when Travolta goes to use the shitter.
Oh,
and he leaves
the toaster
his Uzi.
scene.
Yeah, he leaves his Mac 10 on the counter next to the toaster. Bruce Willis comes back for his watch, and he's looking at the gun like, "What the fuck is this?" And Travolta opens up the door, and they just kind of look at each other funny for a minute. And Bruce Willis is like, eh.
Yeah, like the toaster pops up, and that's basically the excuse.
Yeah, he just empties like 15 rounds across Travolta's chest. He falls over and dies in the bathtub. Fucking one of my favorite scenes of any movie. But again, it reads, and a transcript in black and white, it reads serious. So.
That's fair, I suppose.
Well, I think that's about all the time we got for this one. We're gonna leave this podcast here.
Later days, everyone.
Well, if you like this podcast, I'm sorry. But also, don't forget to hit that like button.
Let us know. Maybe we can do more of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see more, definitely let us know. If you want to see more like this in the future, again, I'm sorry. But don't forget to subscribe. Until next time. Peace!